dear brother, President Muhammadu Buhari, though you are no longer with us, your impact endures.
The documented journey of a patriot, President Tinubu hails Buhari's love and service to humanity.
Personally, I don't subscribe. I don't agree that any ticket anywhere in Nigeria should cost 500,000 naira.
High cost of air transport. Who is to blame and who can come to the rescue?
I can assure you, we don't have abandoned projects here in Jigawa.
What you have seen today, it is determination. Start the project.
2025 rounds off with bulldozers on site as sub-nationals intensify infrastructural development. You're watching the news on NTA, the network news on NTA. I'm Naja Atutijani. Yusuf Awal-Jibo will be joining us from our Lagos studios in the course of the bulletin, while right here in Abuja, Musa Abubakar will give us business updates, while Ayo will have sports highlights. Ayo, let's begin with you.
All right, Super Eagles are in Cairo ahead of their friendly with the Pharaohs of Egypt before departing for the AFCON in Morocco.
We look forward to the details. Musa, what's happening in the world of business?
Nigeria's inflation eases to 14.45% in November.
All right, we look forward to the details. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. You can follow us across social media. Our handles are displayed on this screen. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu is again promising to carry on the virtues of humility, vision and social justice, which the late former President Muhammadu Buhari embodied. The president made the commitment at the launch of a book which chronicles the life and times of the late president from his military to civilian days. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports.
President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi joined family members led by Aisha Buhari and other loyalists to honor the memory of late former presidents Muhammadu Buhari yet again. And even in death, the aura of a Megaskia continues. A few months after his demise, loyalists still believe there are many untold stories about their late leader. More perceptions of the personality of late Buhari are here in print. From soldier to statesman, the legacy of Muhammadu Buhari. From the author's accounts, this is more than just a biography. It is a compendium of revelations around the former leader.
What was the plan of the cabal for the APC presidential primaries before it was thwarted just a few hours before the event? By the way, Mr. President, the cabal wanted somebody else to win that primary. The details are in the book. What killed President Buhari in July 2025? The answer is in the book.
And apparently, a book alone would not suffice to tell all sides, as many followers still have much to say about the man Buhari.
I went back to him and said, sir, in the course of this investigation, I will step on toes. Then he looked at me. He said, okay, go, even if it is Yusuf, you find one thing, deal with him. Don't come back to me.
Serving under President Buhari taught me that true leadership creates space for others to lead.
I appeal to all Nigerians that as we tell the stories of our late president, we embody the positives and stimulate those principles of our life.
Build the institutions that make it easier to do what is right and harder to do what is wrong. If that becomes the legacy of the season, then our family's sorrow will be eased by a nation's progress.
But then, no one tells the transition story better than a companion in the journey who supported the deceased to presidency after 3 different attempts.
The coalition we built in 2014 is now the fastest growing political party in Africa today.
President Tinubu eulogized the humility, vision, and respect for social justice which late Buhari embodied, as well as his contributions to nation building described worthy of emulation.
He believed that a leader must first discipline in himself before he can discipline a system. He lived modestly, and he carried the dignity of that modesty into power. These are the pillars of his legacy. But a legacy is given greater meaning when those who follow choose to continue what has been started. That is my duty, and I pledge that one today.
The president recommends the 600-page book for Nigerian libraries for generations to learn from the virtues of late Muhammadu Buhari. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NT News.
Thank you, Musbao. Let's talk data. The world is increasingly being driven by data and information, and here in Nigeria, the National Bureau of Statistics is drawing attention to the value of data as a tool for progress as it launches the Power of Data Initiative and the National Strategy for the Development of Statistics 2024 to 2028, aimed at highlighting the role data plays in influencing the economy. Moplang Dakok reports.
Data is no doubt fast becoming the backbone of modern society. Data-driven planning helps governments allocate resources efficiently, monitor development outcomes, and respond effectively to emerging challenges.
This roadmap document, launched today,
it is this reality that formed the focus of the launch of the National Power of Data High Impact Initiative by the National Bureau of Statistics.
As we launch these initiatives today, we must recognize that Nigeria is tapping into a future where governance will be more transparent, will be more responsive, will be more accountable. A future where progress is no longer assumed, but clearly demonstrated.
The success of these initiatives will depend not on their launch, but on our collective commitment to implementation.
When you invest $1 in data production, you are going to reap in return $32 in terms of development.
And so what we have seen here today demonstrated by Nigeria is something really commendable that the rest of Africa should look at.
As Nigeria navigates complex economic and social challenges, the National Bureau of Statistics says harnessing the power of data remains key to smarter planning and better outcomes for all Nigerians. In Abuja, Moplang Dakok, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has inaugurated the council members of the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers of Nigeria. Represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, the Minister urges the new council members to harness their potential and add value to the nation's economy. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
This has laid to rest the protracted legal battle that has lasted about 2.5 years and affected the operations of the Institute with huge economic losses due to unregulated activities. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, in a message, urged the new council members to be partners in boosting the nation's economy.
We expect this council to strengthen professional regulation, encourage skills development, protect intellectual property, and position the Nigerian printing industry to compete favorably at both regional and global levels.
We will work with universities and regulatory bodies to introduce printing technology or printing management at degree level in Nigerian universities. This will provide a pipeline of skilled professionals for the industry and enhance competitiveness of our members.
The Institute, established by Act 24 of 2007 of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has the mandate of regulating, managing, and controlling the business of printing in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has affirmed the president's constitutional authority to declare a state of emergency in a state threatened by breakdown of law and order, including the power to temporarily suspend elected officials as an extraordinary measure to restore stability. The 7-member panel of justices of the Apex Court gave the order in a 6-1 split decision in a suit filed by Adamawa State and 10 others challenging President Bola Tinubu's March 18, 2025 declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State. The declaration led to the 6-month suspension of the state's governor, deputy governor, and members of the House of Assembly amid prolonged political crisis and security concerns. Although the court initially dismissed the suit on jurisdictional grounds, ruling that the plaintiffs failed to establish a sufficient cause of action invoking its original jurisdiction, it proceeded to address the substantive issues for clarity. On the health front, Nigeria is taking measures to stop the circulating variant polio virus type 2 transmission within the shortest time through the implementation of polio programs. At the opening of the 43rd Expert Review Committee meeting on polio eradication and routine immunization in Abuja, the Executive Director and CEO of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Mui Aino, commended partners for their commitment to the national effort.
This year, we have seen some progress in reducing CVPV2 cases compared to last year. However, since about April, the rate of decline has plateaued when you look at the year-on-year decline. And we have frankly not been able to sustain the downward trajectory required to completely interrupt transmission before the set date of December 2027. I have therefore, as of last week, kickstarted an urgently needed reset of the NAOC that will be anchored on 5 principles: delivery excellence, data-driven planning and operations, government leadership and government and partner accountability, a state and local government area-centric approach, and a culture of discipline and integrity.
Dr. Aino highlighted notable progress recorded since the last DRC meeting, but raised concerns over data integrity issues, over-reporting, and weak surveillance, especially during recent integrated campaigns. Months after its establishment, the African Medical Center of Excellence, Abuja, is already living up to the high expectations which followed its launch. The facility is closing critical gaps in the treatment of cancer, cardiology, infectious diseases, and other complex medical conditions which previously forced Nigerians to seek care abroad. Jonathan Omajali reports.
More than an imposing medical facility, the African Medical Center of Excellence stands as a symbol of hope and healing. Equipped with world-class medical facilities and staffed by some of the finest medical minds from Nigeria and across the globe, the center wasted no time in making an impact. Within just 6 months of operation, it has recorded remarkable successes in handling complex medical cases, including open-heart surgery.
In barely half a year, AMCE has successfully performed its first open-heart surgeries. We've delivered complex, high-risk care with outcomes that exceed international standards. Just Friday, we performed a very risky procedure on a 60-year-old male who was literally hours, potentially hours away from not just a heart attack, but the question was going to be how bad it was going to be. We were able to save that patient 5 stents later, and he returned home on Saturday. We're doing some very, very complex and life-saving treatments here at the AMCE.
In oncology, we offer cancer prevention and early detection, as well as advanced radiotherapy services, palliatives, and support care.
Management says the center has significantly reduced the need for Nigerians to seek expensive medical care abroad by providing top-quality services locally at affordable costs. In Abuja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
This is the Network News on NTA. Thanks for staying tuned. This is the Network News on NTA. The festive season is here again, bringing the usual high traffic for travelers. This time, air travel has come with an unprecedented rise in ticket prices. What's behind this increase and what might be the way forward? Correspondent Aliu Kabir investigates.
Every December, travel demand spikes, especially around Christmas. Passengers are streaming in and out of the airport in Abuja, heading to destinations across Nigeria. One thing is clear, passengers cannot avoid the high cost of air ticket. For instance, a round-trip ticket from Abuja to Lagos and other parts of the south and eastern Nigeria ranges from 450 to 600 naira, depending on the airline and booking period.
It keeps on shooting up day by day. Because when I booked mine, I think mine was around 217, and my friend booked after me, and it just went up to like 235.
Nobody is happy with it because it's too expensive. From Accra to Abuja, I spent almost 300 plus, and it was a lot.
Airline operators, however, insist that the increase in ticket prices is not deliberate. They say they are making effort to keep fares as affordable as possible.
You know, the mortality rate of airline operation in Nigeria has been very high. So if you don't work out your economics very well, it will affect your operation. And when it starts affecting operation in that way, it has a likelihood to affect even safety. And you cannot compromise safety standard.
Personally, I don't subscribe, I don't agree that any ticket anywhere in Nigeria should cost 500,000 naira. But it's down to market forces. The CA does not regulate airfares, because I know that this is a burning issue. No CA anywhere in the world regulates airfares. So it's not much we can do about it.
The NCAA also assured Nigerians of safety and security throughout the 2025 festive period, stressing that all necessary measures are in place to guarantee smooth and safe air travel during the holidays. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now let's fly to Jigawa State, where the government has approved the allocation of more than 1 billion naira for the renovation of Government Unity College, Birnin Kudu. Secretary to the state government, Bala Ibrahim, made this known during a meeting of the Old Boys Association of the school, Bikoba. Awal Muhammad Kazauri reports.
Representing the Jigawa State Governor, the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Bala Ibrahim, reiterated the administration resolve to prioritize education as a key driver of development. He explained that the proposed 32% to education in the 2026 budget, which exceeds the UNESCO benchmark, reflects sustained investment by the state government aimed at improving infrastructure, teaching quality and learning outcomes across public schools.
We make sure that we implement every letter of what we have said. I can assure you, we don't have abandoned projects here in Jigawa, and I can assure you that the over 1 billion naira that is earmarked for Government College Brunukudu will come to Government College Brunukudu.
You know, education is the root of progress. Without education, we will remain what we are. See today, from the time I finished, that was 73, June 73, the whole place has changed in itself. Not to talk of those who graduated out of the school, what contribution they made to the society today.
The event also featured a paper presentation titled Enhancing Career Development Through Information Technology, alongside the presentation of awards to distinguished guests and contributors. In Duse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA.
And on to River State, where the government has unveiled 1,000 housing units in the first phase of its 20,000 housing project at Greater Taft City Housing Estate in Port Harcourt. Governor Siminala Ifubara says it is a deliberate initiative to help decongest the city and address the housing deficit. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The 20,000 Greater Taft City Housing Units is a public-private partnership between Rivers State Government and Taft Africa Global Limited. It is a significant move towards addressing urban housing deficit, especially in Port Harcourt. Situated in over 1,000 hectares of land, the estate has security, solar power supply, and a serene environment that defines urban housing.
With the opening of the doors to this new housing facility, expectations are high that it will in no small measure help to address the issue of housing deficit, especially in Port Harcourt.
1,000 housing units for middle earning people is not a joke. 1,000 housing. Today, Rivers State is moving development from the center city to this area. From what you have seen today, it is determination. Start the project.
You must be conscious. You must be loving to your people before you can carry out this.
Wonderful environments, wonderful neighbors, close to the airports.
For the state government, the vision of actualizing the 20,000 set target is on course. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Ensuring good welfare of Nigerian workers is not only tied to periodic increase in minimum wage, but also to the provision of infrastructure, which supports livelihood and businesses. National President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, said this in an interview with pressmen in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila reports.
The Labour struggle ambience resonates at Government House, Gombe, as Comrade Joe Ajaero and other national officers of the NLC meet Governor Muhammadu to talk on labour matters.
In the few minutes we are in there, we have had fruitful deliberation. You know, if we came with about 6 items, I think we have gotten almost 90% of them.
The propaganda and the talks are less than the action that we have in Gombe. So, seeing is believing, and I believe you've seen and you'll believe that we are really on course and we are still ready to improve so that we move our country and our people forward.
The NLC president, who confirmed that the 70,000 naira national minimum wage is fully implemented at the federal level, and most states, including Gombe, says minimum wage review is not the only solution to improve welfare of Nigerians.
Britain is not paying 70,000 of its money. America is not paying 70,000. So we should pay attention on making sure that our currency has value and all those social safety nets are properly put in place. That's the issue, not whether 1 million or whatever. If you get a minimum wage to be 1 million, and then that 1 million can buy a loaf of bread, of what essence is that?
On the planned 17th December protest by the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajaero has this to say.
The protest is to help this country, to call to attention the effect of insecurity. You know, it's affecting even investors coming into this country. It's affecting workers.
The NLC president, in company of the state chairman, Comrade Yusuf Aish Bello, joined Governor Muhammadu to break the ground for the foundation laying of a permanent labor house in Gombe State.
I am happy to announce that Gombe State government will finance and complete the building of the NLC secretariat, and we shall deliver on time. I am quite conscious of the fact that this government has only maybe about 1.5 years to move. But this building should not take us 6 months to complete.
The Gombe State would be permanent labor house is situated around a 3-arm zone in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And now to allegations of arrest of bandit terrorists in Kwara State. The government has clarified that the Nigerian army did not arrest any armed bandits in Ifelodun local government area of the state. The statement by the State Commissioner for Communications, Bolanle Olukoju, indicates that the content of the video and circumstances around the suspect is being investigated, as no security agency, including the army, ever reported such arrests in Kwara. Rather, they were reportedly arrested in Auchi, Edo State. The individuals, the statement says, did not mention that Kwara state government gave them any weapon. Meanwhile, the Ifelodun local government authority on its part has clarified that the security van was given to vigilante initially deployed to strengthen existing security, and that those vigilantes have since left Ifelodun but still in possession of its van. Kwara state government urges the public, especially online media platforms and bloggers, to avoid biased dissemination of information or misrepresentation of facts. It's time now to join Awal in our Lagos Network Center. Over to you, Awal.
Welcome to Lagos. The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has reaffirmed his administration's unwavering commitment to the welfare, professionalism and operational effectiveness of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The President gave the assurance at the opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff Annual Conference 2025 holding in Lagos. Lynn Leneke reports that the President was represented by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima.
Represented by the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu paid glowing tribute to serving and retired senior military officers whose sacrifices, leadership and institutional memory have continued to shape the Nigerian Army.
Since assuming the mantle of leadership, we have followed closely the impressive progress being made in transforming the Nigerian Army into a professional, adaptable and resilient force, capable of operating decisively within a joint and multi-agency environment.
Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, described security as a fundamental prerequisite for development and commended the Nigerian Army for its pivotal role in preserving national unity and safeguarding democratic governance.
And the Nigerian Army remains one of the most critical instruments through which nations project stability, authority, and confidence.
The Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, and the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, said the conference is a strategic forum for reviewing operational posture.
You must remain professional. You must be committed, without which you will not be achieved much. The Nigerian Army and indeed the armed forces have continued to stabilize this country and will continue to do so.
In line with Mr. President's strategic directive and my intent to build the Nigerian Army into a more robust force, I recently conceived my command philosophy, which is to advance the transformation of the Nigerian Army into a more professional.
The Vice President later unveiled a book that captures the life and times of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Lagbaja. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
We'll now shift attention to the environment. Nigeria must generate relevant and fact-backed policy to tackle the growing twin environmental waste challenges, electronic and textile waste, that will invariably provide a structured framework for its mitigation. This is a consensus of environmentalists and climatologists at a workshop organized by the Resource and Environmental Policy Research Center, Environment for Development, and the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Larry Belay has more.
This workshop revealed that Nigeria generates about 1.1 million tons of e-waste annually, with about 80 to 90% of it coming from the informal sector.
The federal government is on top of the matter. We have put up regulations that regulate the use and management of e-waste.
To bring about policy direction geared towards controlling the issue of e-waste and textile waste in Nigeria.
This workshop, the aim is to bring together all these stakeholders and discuss it and come up with what we refer to as local solution to the problem.
Environmentalists in their deliberation acknowledged the inevitable surge in electronic and textile consumption, which also drives the economy, providing jobs. However, This development sadly also brings with it enormous volumes of toxic waste.
Which means if you keep on emitting, allow these things to get emitted without really using them effectively, we might be increasing the gas content of the atmosphere, which is already causing us the warming that we are complaining about.
Local solution, these environment experts say, is needed for this global waste challenge. Recyclers, forming the base of an effective circular economy, is one of the veritable ways of providing solutions to the challenge. In Lagos, Lanre Beleyi, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Network News continues after the break with Muhammadu in Abuja. Don't go away.
This December.
This is the Network News on NTA. Governor Bassi Otuo of Cross River State is pledging to leverage the marine resources at the state's disposal to create jobs and promote sustainable economic growth. This was made known during the launch of a Blue Economy Upskilling Program in Calabar, where he was represented by the Deputy Governor Peter Odi. Justina Etim reports.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the maritime sector contributed 113.5 trillion naira to Nigeria's gross domestic product in the third quarter of 2025. To further reap the benefits of this sector, this workshop aims to equip Cross River State citizens with modern maritime skills as the state government assures to tap into the maritime sector and unlock the state's economic potential.
The Marina Resort has been renovated and equipped to meet the standard of our tourists, while the Las Vegas Resort will soon receive the same attention.
This collaboration aims to strengthen governance and institution coordination for the blue economy, enhance maritime spatial planning capacity, improve national data system.
This is just phase one. From phase one, they would have internship, they would have opportunities to relate one-on-one and get fundings from the World Bank.
Collaboration between MDAs of the government, very important. Provision of infrastructure for training.
The program, supported by World Bank, underscores Cross River State's critical role in Nigeria's blue economy. In Calabar, Justina Eton, NTA News.
Now at the opening, Musa Abubakar told us that Nigeria's inflation rate has dropped. Let's get details by joining him live right now. Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Well, thank you, Naja. Nigeria's headline inflation rate is to 14.45% in November 2025, down from 16.05% in October 2025. Latest data released by the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that November figure represents a 1.6 percentage point decline compared to the previous month. On a year-on-year basis, headline inflation was 20.15 percentage points lower than the 34.60% recorded in November 2024, while month-on-month inflation stood at 1.22%, higher than the 0.93% recorded in October 2025. The report also showed that food inflation moderated to 11.08% year-on-year in November 2025, representing a 28.85 percentage point drop from 39.93% in November 2024. The NBS explained that the sharp decline in the annual food inflation figure is largely technical, reflecting a change in the base year used for calculating the consumer price index. Now, ahead of the new year 2026, pension administrators are deploying digital tools to reach the underserved under the contributory pension scheme. The emphasis is on the personal pension plan, where the artisans, small business holders, and anyone else can serve for retirement. Can save for retirement in a more flexible manner, hence the campaign to the market square.
Be you self-employed, be you work in a very small organization, nobody is excluded. It's an opportunity for everybody to save for the future.
The Nigerian stock market closed today's trading session in positive territory as key indicators ended higher on the back of sustained investor confidence. The all-share index settled at 149,437.88 points, reflecting gains recorded during the session. Market activity remained strong with 28,907 deals executed involving 553.16 million shares. The shares traded were valued at 13.27 billion naira, highlighting steady participation by investors. Total equity capitalization closed at 95.27 trillion naira, underscoring the market's overall growth and resilience. Sovereign Trust Insurance and led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 3 naira 74 kobo per share, followed by Guinness Nigeria, Mikio Industries, and First Bank Holding Company. On the losing side, Prestige Assurance Company came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 1 naira 53 kobo per share, followed by FT and Cocoa Processors, Guinea Insurance, and Royal Exchange. Well, that's business news. Najai, is back to you.
Thank you, Musa. President Bola Tinubu sympathizes with the government and people of Bayelsa State over the passing of Deputy Governor Senator Lawrence Orujakpo. A statement by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the President extends heartfelt condolences to the Governor of the state, Duediri, the wife of the Deputy Governor Beatrice Orujakpo, children, friends and associates who worked closely with the diligent public servant. President Tinubu acknowledges the selflessness and patriotism of the late Deputy Governor and prays for the repose of the soul of the departed and for God's comfort for the grieving family and the state. We'll take another break now. Do stay tuned. Just in time for Sports Update Live with Ayo Makinde. Ayo.
Thanks so much, Naja Atu. Let's begin with football. The Super Eagles kicked off their preparations for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations with their first official training session on Monday at the main bowl of Cairo International Stadium. Currently, 15 players are in camp. Early arrivals include Francis Uzoho, Stanley Wabali, Fisayo Dele Bashiru, and Ebenezer Akesomiro. Nigeria take on Pharaohs of Egypt in a pre-AFCON friendly on Tuesday before they travel to Morocco to continue their preparations for the tournament.
It's relieving to know that I'm coming back again to be with the boys and to have that same feeling we used to have before and to represent Nigeria, which is the most important thing.
I was called up, then I got injured. So when they called me up, when I just see the invitation, like, to be honest, like, I call like someone who is closer to me, then I start to cry, you know, because it has been my dream for so long.
In the Nigeria Premier Football League, Rivers United claimed a top spot following a 1-0 victory over Wiki Tourist of Bauchi on Monday at the Adoke Amisimaka Stadium in Port Harcourt. Taufik Otani netted the only goal in the 19th minute, and Rivers United extended their unbeaten streak to 9 games and currently lead the league table with 33 points from 16 matches. Meanwhile, at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Oniko, Ikorodu City and Katsina United played to a goalless draw. The result allowed Ikorodu City to retain 3rd position in the standings, while Katsina United rose to 11th with 22 points from 17 games. To the world of basketball, about 100 young basketballers between the ages of 10 and 17 participated in a 2-day basketball camp at the Gilali Basketball Academy in Abuja. The event, named the Hoops with Gift Camp, is an initiative by D-Tigers forward Uchenna Gift, designed to give back to the community that significantly influenced the rise to stardom.
Country and the future of the country. crime will be reduced to about 80 to 90%.
Yeah, for these young ones, they have to stay determined. Our vision here is to play basketball, is for basketball, morals, and education. And if you can put all this together, you'll be able to put a character that will take you far.
Just a quick one in the world of the English Premier League. Manchester United currently lead Bournemouth by 2-1 after the first 45 minutes. And that's your sports. It's back to Najatu.
Thank you, Ayo. Meanwhile, the 3-day prayer for late Aisha Halilu Malabo has been held with NTA's Director General Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos in attendance. The report.
They gathered to offer third-day prayers for one of their own, whom they described as a humble and devoted daughter, wife, and family member.
Is our first child, my first daughter. She has been like a mother to all her siblings, all her friends, all her relatives, all of us. We miss her. God is the giver and taker of life.
The way she passed away, from the Islamic point of view, she had the Shahada.
It was a gathering observed with deep faith and sorrow, offering prayers for the repose of the soul of the deceased.
We are consoled with the fact that she lived a very good life, and even though Allah has taken her life at this very young age, but we pray for her to have eternal life.
Even in our working place, everybody knows Aisha. She is very dedicated.
Late Aisha Halilu Malabu, a staff member of the Bank of Industry, is survived by his son and her husband, also a staff member of the Bank of Industry. She passed away on Friday in Abuja during childbirth. In Abuja, Show Muhammadu, NTA News.
Amen to all the prayers. And on that note, we conclude the network news on NTA. I'm Naja Atutejani. Thank you for joining us.